Hey everybody, welcome to Power Hour, starring Giles Tiger Thomas. And this week we have a lot to go over. We just had huge show, the New York Pro, the California Pro is coming up. We're going to talk about that. And then we're going to talk about an amazing tour Giles did all over the UK with your Arnold Classic Classic Physique champion, Wesley Vissers, all the way from the Netherlands. So yeah, that was something. But let's start off, man. New York Pro, third biggest show of the year. And it was a battle, man. It was a battle. I want to first put the judging up, and then first impressions for you. I don't know if you watched. Did you watch any of the stream? You were busy running around with Wesley, so I don't think you even caught this, did you?
I basically caught up on social media. I caught up all the Gilco and Bodybuilders Borders and all the videos. So I watched. I've seen enough to really be able to form an opinion.
Okay, so first call out was no surprise. It was all the names we talked about in the preview. Angel Calderon Frias, Tonio Burton, Martin Fitzwater, Nick Walker, Beef Stew, and the surprise, he was really good. Christian Wolski, young guy from Poland, made a huge impression. Ended up in the top five. But so here was the first call out. What would have your initial impressions have been looking at this? Initial impressions looking at this first call out. Yeah, What were you thinking looking at this?
Well, Nick was exactly as I expected, as good as I expected him to be. He did actually, because obviously he did that Pittsburgh guest posing the stomach. I didn't think he could pull it in that much in a week, but just shows you just how much they can do, that in that final week. But I mean, as I expected, he won. But I'm really glad that Martin got, a good point, as in it wasn't like 3-3-3, 5-5-5, whatever, or 6-6-6. I'm glad that Martin was definitely considered because, I mean, look at the waistline there. I mean, for me,
maybe the strongest I've seen in about 10 years as far as the whole top 10. Even Tyler Mannion did his breakdown, and he said that the 6th through 10th could have been the top 5 at pretty much any other smaller show. And he actually did a breakdown, Tyler. He does it on NPC News Online.
I agree.
And he did it pose by pose. He gave front double bicep to Martin. I'll put that up again while we're talking. He gave the front double bicep to Martin.
Really?
Yeah, I know. With the arms of Nick.
Ron. They really like they're really pushing the aesthetics and the waistline, because the only thing that Martin has him on in the front double bicep is that waistline. It's that tiny little V, the way the waist comes right into the hips, Like I think Martin takes the side chest there. I think that's a much better pose than Nick. A readable bicep, I would give that to Nick. Rear lat spread, I'd say that's pretty even. In fact, Martin's actually slightly, if you look at the hams and the glutes, he's a little bit more dug out. I mean, I saw some high resolution pictures, and I was with Wesley on the tour, and he said around the hams and the glutes, I think Martin was actually more impressive than Nick.
He was. The side leg, Nick's side leg is tremendous. It's better than Martin's side leg, I think. But from the front, it was close. So the only poses, he actually Tyler gave Martin the ab and thigh pose as well, which, I mean, he's got those crazy cross striations in his quads. Look at that. More narrowness to the waist. Nick's waist, his obliques are getting thicker. It is starting to happen as he gets bigger. I hope he doesn't get any bigger than this. This pose here, he said Nick needs to hit that one. Stay with that pose because the crab pose, he thinks Martin beats him when they hit that crab style pose. But look at that with Martin, the striations all across the chest. Nick does not have much going on there.
What I want to see from but Martin's got really nice fullness, roundness, nice lines. But what I want to see from Nick is what I wanted to see from Ramy for all those years, where he was just getting bigger, but he had the same strengths and the same weaknesses, and he was just getting a bigger version of what he was rather than a better version. I think Nick should really concentrate on keeping that waistline tight, bringing the chest up, and just keep hammering those quads, because like that right quad for me is quite distracting. I know a lot of people don't notice it, but I do. It's like Hadi's right leg. It just, to me, it draws my eye because I'm looking for flaws. But and also, why didn't he tan his face? I think that's really, it's actually starting to piss me off now.
Yeah, because in Pittsburgh, it was completely white like a ghost. And here, it's still a lot lighter than his body. It's like a rookie mistake, and he's not a rookie.
But he's got the back of his neck up to the back of his hair. Look, he's got tan up to the halfway up at the back of his head. And then he's got no tan on his face. And I just think, don't, because I don't think he'll do that at the Olympia. But if he's going to do that at the Olympia, then why not do it here? Do you know? I'm sorry, the other way around. Why not do it here? But I just think I don't understand the reasoning behind that. Is it like to me it oozes a bit of cockiness, like I'm too good for this show. Do you know what I mean? Or am I being unfair?
Well, I mean, the fact that this is not the best Nick we've seen. I'd say this is like 91% Nick. He could have been sharper. He could have been better here, but it was good. It was certainly good enough to win. I don't argue that he didn't bring enough to win.
Got to keep that.
Is he holding back just this much because that's the Olympia? He knew there were not going to be any Olympia level guys at this show, that he didn't have to worry about a Hadi or a Derek or a Samson. So I don't know if this was a strategy or if he did try tried his best. Go ahead.
If he did it, if it was 90% was strategic and he deliberately meant to do that, I think that's very foolish. Because imagine, because Martin was very, very close, very, very close. So just say Martin had got a couple of judges, and he had sort of, he was only a couple of points behind. Why leave the door open to be beat by someone that really hasn't even done Olympia, let alone made top 10 or top 6 or certainly not top 3. So I think Nick possibly would have tried to bring his best here, but it does. I expect it. I kind of think Nick's back in the. He was never out of the conversation for top 3 at the Olympia, because I think third this year is going to be a battle with him and Samson for third place at the Olympia. But he needs to tan the face, and I think he needs to just concentrate on, like I pick things about how they can improve, for every physique. I think he needs to continue to bring the chest up, bring that waistline in, like Rowley did in from 2014 to 2016. He got the waist trainer and he really brought his waist in massively, because I thought he was done, back then. And then he kind of just turned up at the Body Power Pro in 2016 and his waist was so tight. So I think Nick just needs to keep working on those weaknesses, because he's not hurting for size. The chest looks too small to me. I don't like the side. I think his side chest has gone backwards. I think his side chest in 22 when I was there.
Yeah,
so he's not. So in some ways, he's not actually. I think he's regressed. He's regressed a little bit, I think.
Well, Tyler made a lot. He's very detailed in his breakdowns, Tyler.
I think just balance.
Okay. Yeah, I think the way he hits the side chest doesn't really help him. He really rolls over that rear shoulder, twisting to the, angling to the front, which a lot of guys do now, instead of when we'll see Martin. Martin does more of the old school. So it's some posing issues could help too. But I think everybody I underestimated Martin. I didn't think Martin was going to push him that close at all. I thought it was just going to be a blowout. If Nick showed up the way I've seen him the past few shows, good night, everybody. We'll see you next year. But let's take a look at Martin, because Martin impressed the hell out of everybody. So the condition was so bang on, better than Detroit. I was thinking he might fade from Detroit. It was like 3 or 4 weeks. I think it was a full month ago before this. He didn't. He got sharper.
Do you think he was better than Detroit?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I think so too.
I spoke to a few people who were.
I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, it keeps breaking up. I think he can make top 10 Olympia this year. I could see him around 8th to 10th if he brings this kind of package, because he really is. I'd say he's probably one of the most improved that I've seen, certainly in the last couple of years. I'd like to see a little bit more separation in those delts, because they're looking a bit. The radial bicep for me is a little bit ruined, because, like I said, he's obviously the delts look a bit filled to me. And I think his radial bicep would look so much better if he had a bit more separation between the delt heads. But his rear lat spread is incredible. His side tricep, side chest, fantastic. Ab and thigh, fantastic. Most muscular, fantastic. Frontal bicep, I would have given that one to Nick personally, because I think the frontal bicep was the only pose where I was like, yeah, he's gonna get hit in that one. But then obviously the judges liked it. Tyler liked it because of the tight midsection and the vacuum and stuff like that. So it benefited Keon last year over Clarida, because I didn't have Keon winning last year. I had Clarida winning. So, but the judges are seeming to go for these guys, Lunsford over Hadi, because he had arguably the vacuum and the basically more appealing looking midsection. So, I don't think I think Martin's going to do well at the Olympia this year. I would say definitely top 10.
Yeah, top 10, the top 6. That's a stretch this year, but moving forward,
No.
and I also wonder what can he do for those biceps, because he doesn't have a peak shape to them. That's where he loses. To me, it's sketchy when he hits that shot, because Nick's biceps are those big jagged mountains, like Arnold's, like Ronnie's. I know it's one little, but it's a fungible bicep.
I've not noticed Martin's biceps needing more. They look good to me. It's just because when you're next to Nick, I mean, Nick's are just ridiculously peaked. I mean, that's difficult. If you're hitting a frontal bicep next to Nick, you're gonna, as far as I'm concerned, you're always gonna lose in terms of biceps, because he's got such a nice peak. And in fact, I think it's almost too much in some ways, because he's really genetically gifted, and obviously he's got monstrous arms. So. But I don't think Martin's got bad biceps. I think it's just like I said, stood next to Nick. You're gonna pale in comparison.
Yeah. Before I forget, I want to make sure everyone knows we're going to do a live watch party on this channel Saturday of the California Pro Muscle Contest International. Always streams it live on YouTube. Mike is in on it. I'm not going to be if you can drop by, Giles, that'd be awesome. If not, I totally understand. Yeah. We'll see what you're up to. But let's take a look at the guy.
I can come. I can.
Yeah, my favorite for the show, my favorite to win that. We're still talking about New York, but he was 3rd place here. I thought he looked pretty damn good. Let's look at Tonio Burton. Tell me what you think, James.
I think he's gone backwards, mate.
Wow.
I do. This is not the best Tonio I've seen. I don't know. It's just the lighting's not as good. But what show did he do recently? Is this the first one? Hang on, he's done
Brazil. Arnold South America. It was narrow loss to Rafael Brandão.
Yeah, that's right. I felt like he looked better there. I mean, he's still got a beautiful physique, lovely shape, lovely structure. I don't know whether maybe I just expected more, but I mean, obviously the past winner, so he's obviously coming in a strong position. But he looks very good. I love his back. I think he looked better at the Olympia in last year, personally. I mean, like I said, thing is, like when they make big leaps and improvements from year to year, you're kind of disappointed if they don't make it every single year, But he's got a cracking physique, Tonio, lovely shape, and like I said, he got 8th Olympia last year, so that was a really good result for him. So, I think 3rd place was fair, mate.
Yeah, and let's move on to 4th, right behind him. I would be very proud of myself if I was this young man. I could see his disappointment in taking 4th, because he's a very fierce competitor. Talking about beef stew. Stuart Sutherland. I thought he looked markedly better than he did last year when he took 2nd.
Big time. Yeah, no, I love beef stew. In fact, I was looking at some of the shots on social media over last weekend, and like the back shots, he was up there, with Nick and Martin. To be honest, I might have had him 3rd. To be honest, I really like Stu's physique. I like his density, his thickness. He was definitely. I saw some side-by-side pictures from last year's New York Pro, and he's definitely made improvements. So, I mean, I think it was close for 3rd between him and Tonio. Personally, I would have gone with Stu, but yeah, I mean, it was super close. I mean, the thing is, there was guys like bringing their best that except when this kind of lineup, there's guys not making top 5 that will argue, like Tim Buddersheim who are actually kind of probably bringing their best ever. But it was a brutal show, this one. Really, really, really brutal.
Yeah. I mean, they were, Tonio and Stu were 1st and 2nd last year, but there was no Nick Walker in the show, and there's no Martin Fitzwater in the show last year. Moving on to 5th place. I see in the comments on Instagram, a lot of the European athletes or the fans in Europe, they feel like the Americans get preferential treatment by the judges in the USA at the shows. I don't think that's true. I think wherever you go, if you display the best physique, it doesn't matter if you're from that country or from, the moon. There's no bodybuilders on the moon as far as I know. But Christian Wolski stood out. He wasn't even in that he was in the first call out. But things changed after the first call out for sure as the show went on. But Christian, we're muted. We're muted, Giles. You can unmute your mic. Yeah.
Yeah, Christian, I mean, he turned pro in the UK back in, I want to say around 2018, 2019. And he's one that I remember his first pro season, and I think he made top 5 in every single European pro show. And I know he's been working with Mauro Sassi. And I think I said to you on a few episodes ago, I said, look, watch out for this guy because he's really, really underrated, I think. Interviewed him on Global a couple of years ago, a year ago, whatever. Really cool guy. Very, very, very nice balance. And I could see in all the progress pictures when he's working with Mauro, I was like, yeah, he's going to be seriously improved for this. So it was nice to see a European guy up there as well, because I was really interested to see him and Bodesham, because I really, really rate both of them. I think they're both absolutely fantastic. So I'm really, really happy for Christian, top 5. And I know he's doing the Cali Pro this weekend. So that's going to be super interesting.
Okay, I'm going to put Quint Beachwood up next. Watch your mic thing. It did mute us both on that one for some reason. So if I go like this, you're muted. So you have to unmute yourself. So let's look at Quint. Okay, we're not muted. Yeah, look at that. Beautiful physique. Beautiful lines. Bob Ciccarello had him as his favorite to win leading into this a week ago. I wasn't that optimistic for him, but yeah. Thoughts?
I mean, Bob's not way off, because at the end of the day, he is a guy that really has insane potential. I mean, he has a structure of, has he a structure for Mr. Olympia? Look at it. I mean, he's got a beautiful X frame. He's tall. He's got nice flow. He looks healthy. He looks, he's got a really, really nice physique. But I said to you in the group chat the other week, I said, but even before the New York Pro, I said, I still think he needs more time. And I know he's going to be disappointed with 6th place, but because to me, even when I saw the side chest picture, I think he posted in the morning of the show, before the show, I could see he wasn't like bursting full. And to me, he just looked a bit flat, because he's one of those guys that he has to be. I think he really struggles to get that fullness to sharpness conditioning ratio right. But he's one of those guys that, as soon as he figures that out, and the thing is, I think that's going to come with more time and more muscle. Not just peaking properly. I think he just needs more size generally, because you see him like in the progress pictures in the gym shots, and you think, how could anyone beat that? Like, he literally looks like a Mr. Olympia. Like, he's got a tiny little waist, got beautiful wide shoulders. He's a tall guy, but he's got good quads as well. And he's just one of those guys that, he just screams like raw potential. It must be quite frustrating for him now, because every year we're saying the same. And he's doing well. He's doing top 5 and top 6 in all these big shows. But like Bob Chick, who knows his stuff, he's obviously expecting Quint to come in and win this. So I just hope he keeps going. I hope he does a few more pro shows this year, and doesn't shut it down, because I think he knows that he can peak better than this. But like I said, I think the bigger guys, they really struggle to get that. I know Dennis Wolf used to really struggle with the fullness and trying to hold it. Even during prejudging, they can flatten out. I've seen it happen with the really, really big, tall, wide guys. They seem to really struggle holding their peak, even for like half an hour during prejudging. So, so I hope he does a few more shows, and I'd like to see him get a couple of top 3s before he shuts it down for this year.
He was not on the list for Cali Pro as of Wednesday evening when I looked. Yes, that was live. We're doing this on a Thursday, and I don't know why. Why would you not do that show? Because the only people who beat you there, 2 of them aren't going to be in this show. He's still got Tonio and Stuart to get through. Christian, I mean, the worst he would do, unless there's some of these new guys we'll talk about doing Cali, he could have been top 3, top 4, easy. In my mind, easily. Why not? But I hope by the time this airs that he's changed his mind and he's going to head to California. Yeah.
I think he still needs that, because he's got great arms, great legs, great shoulders. I just think he needs to fill that chest and back out. I would love to see a few more pounds of it, because imagine him with he'd look like Samson if he had a bigger chest and back, because he's got look at his calves as well. I mean, some black guys just they just don't have calves as good, but his calves are absolutely enormous. He does. It's a genetic thing, isn't it? So I really I hope this is not the best he can bring with the physique he has now, because I believe that he can come in better, because I think we saw him better. What was the show? Was it Texas the other year? Yeah. Kamal was in it, that one. He looked slightly better there, and I don't think his physique's gone backwards. No,
he's getting better. It's just it's taking longer than we would like, because we're impatient as fans. But he's doing it the right way. He's doing it slowly, gradually, keeping that tiny waist. He's got very long limbs, just like an Andrew Jack, and it takes time You know,
Yeah,
Andrew's like 30, 38 years old. Quint is, what's he, like 28, 27, 20? He's still a young guy. And he's still putting on. He's still nowhere near. I don't think he's final form.
But the thing is, he's doing it nice and steady, like Rafael Brandao, where he's just steadily getting bigger and better. But you know, he's managed to, even when he first turned pro, like he's still managed to keep that waist nice and small. So he is moving forward, just maybe not as quick as some people would like. But the thing is, people don't realize, you know, when you're tall, it takes time to fill a frame out. And like you said, he's only in his late 20s. But I mean, he's, you know, top 6 in the New York Pro in a lineup like this. That is not. There's no shame in that. Just because he didn't win, it's not a fail. He still looked good. Like people were like, I mean, I saw his post the day after the coming, you know, 6th year, and he sounded really upset. And I'm thinking, mate, you know, you did yourself no shame, because you were up against Nick Walker, Martin, you know, like really, really big names, you know, and good bodybuilders. So I'd like to see him. I'd like to see him do 1 or 2 more shows and at least get a top 3 before he shuts it down for next year. But like I said, chest and back is what he really needs to focus on now, and he just needs to go to war on those areas.
Cool. So 7th place went to one of Europe's most consistent competitors, all the way from Germany, and we got the correct pronunciation in his posing routine. It's Tim Budesheim. Budesheim. It's not Budesheim. Yeah, we've been saying it wrong, all us non-Germans. So, yeah, man, I was very, very impressed. He was full, dense. I thought his peak was right where it needed to be. Nailed it. Just a tough lineup, but. You know, I've been critical of his back. It could still be better, I think, but man, not a bad back. Not at all. Look at that. Look at the glute. Everything was dialed in. So, yeah.
I have seen him sharper. I mean, sorry, go on.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, Ron, sorry. Yeah, I have seen him sharper. Like when he's turned pro at the 2017 San Marino, I've never seen his lat striations as good as that since. But obviously he's a lot bigger now. But for me, he's lost a bit of, I mean, you can see his quads there are absolutely shredded and dry. But I still feel like he needs a couple of weeks more prep, because his upper body looks a bit blurry there to me. It looks a bit heavy. I think maybe he's focused too much on the scale, because I have seen him crisper than this. But one thing I did notice as soon as I saw the new video, his quads. I mean, his quads have got even bigger now. They're even more impressive. I mean, like his lower quad was just hanging over his kneecap, and it was like rock. It was like prop. It was absolutely shredded and rock hard, you know. I think this is a warm up for him. I think he'll get better as the shows go on. I think another 1 or 2 shows, and I think I'd like to see him drop another 2 or 3 kilos. You know, 4 or 5 pounds, because I think then he'd really sharpen up nicely. So, but 7th, was it 7th he got? 7th, yeah?
Yeah, 7th. So
not bad.
He was not
in a lineup like this. That's impressive.
Well, he was not in that first call out, so he worked. You know, he showed the judges took note of him and they did the right thing. The first call out is not always indicative of your top 5 or top 6. Sometimes the judges catch up.
I saw Brandon Curry at the 2017 Olympia take first call out and then take 8th place. Rafael Brandao, Rafael Brandao, and the year before was last place. The 2017 San Marino, Rafael Brandao made first call out and he made 8th place. So it did, you know, first call out doesn't necessarily mean you're in the top 5. But like I said, there's 2 8th places that I can personally recall.
So let's look right behind him in 8th place was Angel Calderon Frias from Spain.
Yeah.
What a tank. But, you know, I think what hurts him, you know, my son Christian was with me. It was his first pro show.
Yeah.
And I was trying to explain to him how the judging works and what they're looking for, different attributes, qualities. And I said, you should never be able to look at somebody by themselves and know that they're shorter or taller than the average guy or girl, because that means that their limb proportions are a little off. And I think that's what hurts Angel the most, is just structure, because he's dense. He's got so much thick muscle, and his condition was pretty damn good. I'm sure you've probably seen him a little better at times, but he wasn't off by much.
I said to you on the last para, I said I don't believe that he's done with 212 now, because I saw on his Instagram, I think it was this morning, I think he said he was either 226 or 228 here. So he's either 14 or 16 pounds over the 212 limit, and he's bringing this kind of condition. So I think he's bullshitting. I don't think he's done with the 212. I think he wanted to try his hand at open, see how he did. But I mean, you know, because he's top 3 Olympia. He's been second at the Olympia. He's been 10th, 7th, 4th, 2nd, 3rd at the Olympia in the 212. Now, even if, say, he did qualify for the Open Olympia now, is he a top 10 guy? Probably not. He might make top 15. I doubt it. But I think the reason the 212 was brought in for guys of this height that are literally under 5'4", that even with amazing physiques like Angel Calderon, really struggled to kind of get a proper look in. And Dave Henry was one example where he was, he was going to the Olympia and just getting completely annihilated. And then the 202 and the 212 came in, and then they kind of get a proper look in because their physiques are properly assessed. But I think it's good to try your hand at 212 because look what happened for Hadi, look what happened for Derek Lunsford, look what happened for William Bonac. Kamal has had success in the Open. Tonio Burton. I mean, there's a few names. I mean, I'm sure you can think of others of 212s that have tried their hand as an Open and it's gone really, really, really well. And in the end, John Jewett looks like he's going to be a more successful Open guy than he is as a 212. I'm predicting. Wow. But with Angel, I think he should go back to the Olympia and go as a 212 because doing a season as an Open, making like 8th place in a lineup this tough. I think it was a successful venture, but I think now he needs to really stay in the class that was really designed for people of that stature and go be because I think he'll still be a top 3 at the 212 Olympia this time, but by all means do another couple of Open shows, maybe get a top 6 and then shut it down and then go get ready for the Olympia as a 212.
Yeah, I mean, why would you come so close to winning the 212 Olympia and give it up to the best he's going to do at the Open Olympia? In my estimation, he'd be very lucky to get like 10th place. Very lucky. It's stacked, and that structure is going to hurt him. Like
he could maybe make to a 13th to 15th, but then again, would you rather that, or sponsors are going to be more impressed with that, or they're going to be more impressed with going in as a first caller and a real contender for the 212 Olympia?
I'd be more impressed with somebody that's a contender for the title. So another young guy, 25 years old, because we met him in the lobby, me and my son. My son's almost 20. He'll be 25 in a few months. So he's like, oh, my God, this guy's my age. Emir Omaragic from Germany. He brought a really great package to the show. Did make the top 10. He was 9th.
Nice.
Yeah, and one of the first. He's come over here before. It's just not his first U.S. appearance, but I want to see these guys like Emmer. I want to see them in more of the shows like New York, Tampa, Chicago, Texas. A lot of the U.S. fans aren't aware of the best talent from Europe because they primarily, because there's a show in Alicante every 3 weeks. So why would they bother to come over here, right?
Well, he's been top 5 at New York Pro. Was it 2 years ago? Was it him and Andrea Presti both made top 5?
Right. One of those COVID shows.
Yeah, and also it's funny because Emir came second to Angel Calderon in the Big Man weekend in 2021 in the Open. That was the first time Angel Calderon because me and Lauren did the live stream commentary. Angel Calderon was first, and Emir was second in that one. But I think he was only like 21 or 22 at the time. And I remember going on stage and doing a little bit of a wrap-up thing, and seeing him up close, I was like, he's 21 or 21, I think he was at the time. I can't believe how big he was, and he's got even better since then. And I really like Emir as well. He's a good guy. He did the Arnold Brazil last year, if you remember.
Yeah.
But he looks good. Needs to tan his lats in his face, though, because that looks like a bit of a rookie. Look, see, all the tan. Do you know what causes that? When they don't tan early enough, they turn up too late for the tanning. It happened to Krizo at the Prague show in 22, and his arms are so big they brush the tan off their lats if it's not fully dried. Yeah. They don't let it dry properly, so it looks really messy when they start posing, and then it rubs the tan off their lats. And don't get me started on the face tanning. This is a trend like the old pointy shoulders and the shiny side delts and the lack of stripiness. This is one thing that really, this is a trend I want to see stopping very, very quickly.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so let's show some love to the 212 division. Here is your winner, all the way from war-torn Ukraine, Oleg Krivi. And I actually caught him I was doing a wrap-up by myself out in the lobby because Jose was running late because he was with Guy's sister Nino. And Oleg happened to be passing by, and I grabbed him. I said, hey, do you speak English? I didn't know. He does. Bombs going off around him, losing power for days sometimes. The things this guy had to deal with to get ready for the show, and look at how he shows up. Amazing. Absolutely
incredible. Well, he's top 5 Olympia.
Yeah.
Was he? I got 5th or 6th. I think he was last year, and I think he was the same the year before. He's a top 6 Olympia guy. So really, for him, I mean, I think was Kerith 4th and then him 5th, or was it something around that at the Olympia last year and the year before, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was. I think that's exactly what it was. Fourth Kerith and him.
Yeah, I had that in my head, but you know, so I know we had Kerith as a favorite. You know, being a New York guy, and obviously, you know, we was more aware of him. But Ole is, you know, like he's proven himself internationally at the Olympia and other shows. Many times he's won many pro shows. But I was really, really happy to see him get this win because, and also it shows that, you know, the judging is very fair for, like you said, people moan and complain, saying European guys don't get a look in. It's like, and then they go beat the local boy. Do you know what I mean? So it shows you just how good the judging is.
Well, we'll look at Kerith in a second. Kerith was good enough that nobody really would have complained at all had he won. It was very, very close.
They're both awesome. They're both. I mean, when you're top 6 Olympia, you know you're good. You're very good.
Absolutely. Let's find Kerith. So yeah, Kerith, defending champ. Look at that.
The waistline looks a bit bigger to me.
A little thicker.
Yeah, he needs to drop a couple of kilos. Maybe straight away, my first impressions, my eyes drawn to the midsection because I have the last version of him burned into my brain. So straight away, I'm seeing that. Okay, first of all, that tells me that he overcarbed or he ate too much too late, or he's either coming too heavy or he's just maybe pushing certain compounds in the off season, which is causing that. But I think if he dropped a couple of kilos, see the midsection looks like it's full. It looks like he's got a lot of food in there. I think he maybe he was just wanting to come in fuller, closer to the 212 weight limit. But I think another 2 or 3 weeks of prep, and I think he'd look at his best again. And because to me he looks like a couple of weeks out there.
Yeah, Jose texted me because he was upset that he missed the 212 judging. And he said, people were telling him Kerith was soft. I said, no, but you're held to the standard of the condition that we've seen before. And he was not. This is not his best. I've seen him sharper than this. And had he been sharper, I think it would have gone his way. I think we would have beat Ole.
He's got a nicer structure and a nicer overall balance and flow than Ole. But Ole just come in granite hard. I mean, Ole in the off season is like how he looks on stage. I mean, he's like Vlad Sorochko. He's just shredded all year round. You know, he's just so Kerith to me looks like I'm guessing that maybe he wants to come in a little bit heavier. But I think, and I can see that he's made some gains around the back and the chest and stuff. But to me, you know, he needs to come in a little bit drier and a little bit harder. So I would say even 3-4 pounds off that, and I think he's going to easily get his qualification to the Olympia, and then obviously be, you know, fighting it out for probably 3rd, 4th, 5th at the Olympia with Ole again.
Yeah, and I was looking at California Pro in a couple of days does not have a 212. Otherwise, I would have said, Kerith, jump in that, and there's your qualification. But
what's the next 212 show that you know of?
It's probably over in Europe or something. What's happening after this?
Probably Alicante or something like that.
What's the first show in June? Well, Toronto.
The Empro? Oh, Toronto. Yeah, see, he goes. If he just stays on prep and really, really sort of, you know, drops a couple of kilos, he'll probably. I would be very shocked if he didn't win Toronto and then qualify for the Olympia again.
And 3rd place, this youngster, Francisco Barrios Vic, originally from Argentina, now living in Brazil.
Awesome.
Patrick Tour's protege. He's been with him since his puppy years. He is still a pup. What is he, 25, 26?
Something like that, yeah. He
gets better.
I think he's one of these guys that even in 10 years, we're still gonna call him a pup because he looks like one.
But I love the confidence. You know, he knew he was dialed in. He knew he brought his best package, and he's moving up. I mean, 3rd place at the New York Pro. Come on, that's pretty damn great.
Not bad at all. I'm really, really happy for him. He's really, really, like, I saw the progress pictures, I think a week out, and I was like, holy shit, him and Patrick they've really put some work in. He's one of these guys that is just constantly improving. Look at the condition. Wow. Yeah, and the thing is, for me, the lighting looks a bit bright because they all look a bit washed out in the upper body, but it's just where the lighting is so bright. It can make the guys who are absolutely shredded not look totally shredded, like certainly in the upper body where the light really hits them. I feel like the lighting needs to be a bit more overhead or a bit not quite as bright. But even so, you can still see his legs and his glutes and his hamstrings are absolutely dry as a bone. Yeah.
We'll look at one last guy from the show before we move on. This was your 212 winner,
Cody?
Matt Grego.
Oh, Matt Grego.
Okay. Yeah, he had just lost the week before to Eric Wildberger Lisboa from Brazil, and this time he turned the tables on him and got his Olympic qualification. To me, he destroyed him in that front double bicep pose. That was 100% Matt for me. But this is another youngster, 25 years old. He's now the training partner. I don't know if Lunsford has more than one. He's been training down in Tampa with Derek Lunsford. And
nice.
I saw him a year ago at this show, and he's probably up a good 10, 12 pounds of quality muscle. So
nice. He looks really, really good. Really good. Nice, lovely. Look at that beautiful X-frame.
Yeah, he's not pushing Wesley or Bumstead right now, but I think as time goes by, he could fill out a little bit more. Look at that. Look at that lats.
Looks good. Yeah. Look, there's you can't even see the lats when he did that. There was no gap between his forearm and his lat there.
Yeah, and that's not great. A classic.
That's really good. He's really
not
good.
A class. Do not hit the crab, guys. No, it's a good pose for him. Let's move on to so that'll wrap up. That's our discussion of the New York Pro. I want to start talking about the California Pro. It's happening this Saturday in Anaheim, California. They only have men's open, so you don't have to sit through a bunch of divisions. Free live stream on the YouTube channel for Muscle Contest International. The times, if you're on the East Coast of the USA, 2 p.m. for the men's pro bodybuilding judging, 5 p.m. for their finals. So a few of the usual suspects. Tonio and Stuart are my favorite for the win. I want to see their rematch. Christian Wolski's up there again. Budasheim is in there. Amir Omaragic is doing again. But let's take a look at some other guys who did not do this show, but they will be there. So first up, Eddie Monster, Eddie Bracamontes, who has he's done this show a few times. And he is
the size of his arms.
It's a big boy.
Huge. He is like a legit 270 guy on stage, isn't he? I mean, he's one of these guys that when he says his body weight, he actually looks it as well.
Yeah, and he's been consistently in condition at this show. He's a California native, so I think this holds a special place for him. He really wants to win this show. It's going to be tough up against, Tonio and Stu are going to they're going to battle it out. They're going to get that rematch from last year's New York Pro, as far as I'm concerned. But
he always does the Cali Pro, doesn't he, Eddie?
Yes, every year that they've had it, I think he's done it. What's that? I don't know what that is. So look at that. I mean, that is a big, wide man.
He's awesome. Also, I just hope he nails the condition because he's one of these guys. He's huge. He's big. He's not lacking anything, but he really needs to be like the best I've ever seen is when he really drops down to like in the 250s. That for me is the best look because he doesn't. I know everyone should be in condition, but he's one of these physiques that when he brings himself down a little bit, he seems to really, really looks like 10 times better. So I hope, fingers crossed, he's in condition because he's, he'll need to be going up against guys who are genetically, shape-wise, a little bit more gifted. But this guy's got a lot of size, and he's going to be a front runner.
Just missed the top 10. Was this guy Joseph Kvet?
Wow.
Yeah, he was 11th place. I'm sure he was a little disappointed, but. Yeah, I mean, he brought a fantastic package. He was third place at the show last year in a admittedly weaker lineup. I don't know what all this stuff is, but yeah, look at that. He's a big guy with a small waist. That pec tear was noticeable.
It was.
I'll be honest. Even my son said, "Wow, what's that? Is that a pec tear?" I said, "Yeah, not much you can do about that unless you had it operated on very quickly."
He carried on prepping. It was 8 weeks out he did that, apparently. He carried on prepping. I mean, that's because I heard he was going to pull out, and then he decided right at the last minute, no, I'm going to keep going. So good, fair play to him. But I just love his shoulders. I think he's got crazy shoulders.
Yeah.
And I like to see, it's nice to see, look at that. He's thick as a brick, isn't he? He's a farmer.
He is, yeah.
Him and his dad run a farm. But is that Thomas Barres? Is that Thomas Barres?
Probably. Look at the paper thin. Yeah, I think that is paper thin skin on this guy.
Yeah. Nice to see a new face and European guy as well. So is he Czech? I think he's Czech, isn't he? Yeah,
because photographer Joseph Alt was with him.
Okay, yeah, because Joseph was with us in Hungary the other weekend, and he said they were traveling together.
Yeah.
So that's cool because he said he's going to be at the New York Pro, and I said no, it's not going to be that.
So while we're on the Czech Republic discussion, might as well move on to this guy. So this was Milan Shadek, who had been as high as third a few years ago at this show.
Yeah, he was a good 212, wasn't he? Remember in 2017?
Yeah. So he was just outside the top. I think he ended up in 12th. Actually, I wrote it down. He was 15th here. I think it's just a size issue. I think he needs to just be thicker.
He was top 5. He was 5th place, I believe, at the 2016 or the 2017 Olympia in the 212.
Yes.
And then he moved. I remember he won the Charlotte Pro, and he moved up to Open. And I really, really rate this for guy's physique. He's got beautiful balance, but I hate to say it, but he kind of doesn't. He kind of looks exactly the same every year. So I don't know. I don't know what he needs to do. I mean, I don't think he's going to be able to suck it down to 212. I don't think he's interested in doing that. But I hope he keeps going, because he's got when he's really, really on this guy, I mean, he is super impressive. So he's one of Czech's best bodybuilders. But I don't know what he looks. He's kind of looked the same for 7 years, which is, or you could say he looks as good as he did. Even the conditions not kind of what I've expected from him, really. I've seen him much better than this, much better. Maybe he just needs to do a couple more shows and really keep going, because this isn't the best Milan I've seen. Yeah,
I agree. I mean, I don't see much improvement size-wise, but I still love I think he's got some of the greatest legs. Look at that.
Yeah, amazing. Amazing. He is super impressive. I like him as well. He's a cool guy.
Yeah, but let's move on. So all the way from Australia, got Sam, and I spelled his name wrong the first time and got a bunch of different Sam Pierces, but this is the right one. This is Sam Pierce from Australia. And here's how he's looking. Saw him last year. I can't recall what show it was, but I know I've seen this guy before. Look at that. Nice condition, beautiful taper.
He's heavy as well, isn't he? He's big. Like he's really, like he weighs a lot on stage.
He's one of those, he's one of those 270 guys or better, probably 265, 270, something in that range.
Yeah.
Taller guy. So wish him the best.
Yep.
And the guy who was in, how did Dorian Haywood was at New York Pro. Didn't do as well as he had hoped. But he's another guy who just refuses to give up. So this is him at the show.
I mean, he'll do like 7-8 shows in a row.
He will. He'll do every show that's within the next couple of weeks, I'm sure.
I like Dorian's physique. I think he sometimes gets a bit of a raw deal. I remember at the 2017 Tampa, and I remember he was in 2nd or maybe even 3rd call out, and I just thought I didn't understand why he was. Because he's an absolute. Oh yeah, you can see his glutes and everything. He's probably at the start of like a slew of shows that he's going to do. So I really, really hope he just really sharpens up, because I want to see him. He deserves to be certainly top end 2nd call out, maybe even 1st call out some of these shows. But this is you got to bring your best to, especially with a New York Pro that's probably arguably the best we've seen in about 10 years.
Yeah, and his coach passed away a few months ago. Dave Kalick was such a great guy.
Oh shit, did he?
And when Dave, we would always talk about the show, and who after judging, he'd like, "What'd you think? What'd you think?" In the last couple of years, I said to him, Dorian's legs seems to be losing a bit in the legs, and that's what's hurting, because I've seen the condition pretty good, but
it's been very good. Very good for.
He's got such a wide upper body. Great shoulder width, great lat width. You need to have sweepy quads, really good quad sweep to balance that out.
Yeah, his legs look like they've, especially that left one. It looks like I've seen his legs bigger than this, and it's not like. I mean, he's got good. Look at the hamstring cords there. I mean, he's got nice ham drop.
Side leg is better.
It looks to me like he needs to be harder. And I think that maybe is there some knee injury there or something that's preventing him, because I don't see why his legs would go backwards. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
But I have seen him better than this. But like I said, he's not afraid to do a lot of shows. So hopefully he will improve as those shows go on.
Fair play. So, all right, so let's stop that. So again, guys, we're going to be doing a live watch party on this channel Saturday. I want you to subscribe to Muscle Contest International YouTube. Give them some love, because I will be cribbing their footage. But I'll be giving them credit the whole time. Don't worry, guys. So now let's turn our attention to something that just happened over in Europe. Was the amazing tour you did with Wesley Vissers. So first of all, was it all UK, or did you? Where did this tour encompass? What location?
Well, I did. Poster. Look at the vintage style poster they did for one of the places. How cool is that? Look at that. Wow. They did like the old 70s style.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we did because the thing is, he was bringing his wife and his videographer. And he wanted to do them back to back. So I said, I'll just make it UK then. So I got eight sort of yeses, and I worked out the route, flew him into Glasgow and Scotland, because there was a new guy I've never worked with. I worked with 2 new places on this, because I'll be honest, I'm always nervous about working with new places, because, you know, I have had 1 or 2 not so great experiences. So I'm always a little bit nervous about new places. But this guy up in Scotland, Muscle Lab, up in Glasgow, he was really wanted to get Ronnie there. And I said, well, he said, are you doing any more? He says, because I love we've had Dorian here 3 times. So I said, well, I've got Wesley. And he went, oh yeah, I like that guy. He's awesome. I'll have him. So we flew him in, and then we basically worked our way down the country. We did England. So we did Scotland, England, and Wales in 3 days.
Wow.
And then we basically went across from Wales to England. And then we did, we finished off in around London and Kent and Essex and stuff like that. And we also did a new one called Rip Gym in Basildon, a gym that I've known of for many, many years. Luke Sander used to train there. And I've heard really good. There are a lot of kind of, people in the UK, you know, the names, you know, all spoke highly of it and all trained there. They used to sort of travel quite far to go and train there, because it's a really good gym. It's an amazing gym. So yeah, we did an 8-day UK tour, and went fantastic, absolutely brilliant. And see, one of the things with these tours, one of the things that I think potentially might prevent like the new guys from not doing something like this is that they're worried that it's going to be detrimental to their training and their diet. Yeah. So I said, don't worry. I promise you won't miss a single workout or a single meal. So, I mean, you saw Lauren up till 12:30 on her birthday, cooking all his food for the next day or two. And he said all his dietary requirements. And we made sure, and every day I'd say, how can we basically work between us and prep meal companies, and made sure, and he didn't miss. And every day I'd say, how are you doing? Are you okay for food? Yep, I've got all my meals. Yep, everything's good. It's all fresh. And then obviously the gym owners usually would take us out for a meal at night, so that would cover that. And then obviously we'd have breakfast at the hotels. But yeah, it was really good. We even got half day to go into London as well. We did a bit of sightseeing. We saw London Bridge, the London Eye, Tower Bridge, walked over Tower Bridge, which I've never even done before. Saw Big Ben, went on the tube and everything. It was really beautiful day. It was like 23 degrees. Wesley was obviously getting a lot of attention because he's just walking around in shorts and a vest, you know. But sorry, and a t-shirt, whatever. So it was, it was really good. Got his top off as well. Did some poses right next to Big Ben and Tower Bridge and stuff. But they're lovely people, classy people, and very easy to tour with. And it went without a hitch every single day. Like, because I was really, I'll be honest, after the Ronnie tour, I was like, shit, that was a 10 out of 10. And then the pressure's on to really keep performing, you know, because the thing is, don't forget the Olympia name is attached to this. They endorse these and they support these tours. So if I make one stupid or careless mistake that I potentially could have avoided that is within my control, you know, really, I mean, I wouldn't blame them just to say, right, okay, then, you know, is any negativity or anything like we're going to withdraw the name. So, but they haven't. And they were true to their word as well, all the backing of the social medias, all the collab posts. Every single day I did a collab, they'd collab, and the likes had got to like 40. I think one got 50,000 likes.
Wow.
My social media following's gone up as well, so it's been great. Nice. But it's but yeah, it went without a hitch. The route was good. The first 2 or 3 days, there was quite a lot of driving, and I think we all struggled. But because normally with the tours, I remember the Phil Heath one, I started high energy, and by the end I was dying. But with this one, my energy kind of went up as the tour went on. Like by the end, I was, because every single day just worked out perfectly with the, you know, he did legs 3 times in 7 days.
Wow. Jeez.
3 times.
Does he normally do that?
I don't know, because he sent me the split and there was no shoulders or arms. So what he would do, he'd do chest and then he'd do side delts and then triceps. So he did actually do some shoulders and triceps, but it was all back, chest and legs, and then repeat, 3 on 1 off. And he trained hard as well. He trained bloody hard. The thing is, we made sure that there wasn't too much driving. There wasn't too much, we managed to get back to the hotel at a sensible time. And also, like, I put him, because I know because him and his wife, they've got 2 children. They run a busy gym. They've got busy lives. When they're away, they're usually when he's competing. So I put him in a really nice local hotel where I put Phil and Brandon, Samson, who else? Anyway, all of them. Ronnie. And I got them like the top suite for the one night, just to make, and I got them nice and early so they could relax and have some time together and stuff like that. So yeah, it went really well, mate. Went without a hitch. And I'm interested in doing another one with him after the Olympia, because he's in a very, very good position, because he was 7th place at Olympia last year, but at the Arnold Classic, he beat Brion, Urs, and Ramon, who, you got Ramon's number 2, Urs number 3, and Brion like sort of 4th, 5th.
Yeah.
So even if he goes in and only does better than 7th, he's moved up. But I think really he's going in as the main, because he said there's only one guy left to beat now this year, and that's
right.
Bumstead. So even if he doesn't get, say, 1st or 2nd, he's still moving up. So, and he made such a good impression in the UK, mate. I mean, everyone loved him. I mean, he was so, like, I said to him, I asked one of the questions on the final seminar, and I said, mate, I said, put my hand up, and I said, Wesley, have you ever done acting lessons or public speaking lessons? I said, and he said, never, not one. Because he's so good. Like Ronnie, you can expect, Ronnie can just like basically blow a raspberry for an hour and people like you can hear a pin drop. Do you know what I mean? But with Wesley, like you can always gauge people's interest by how quiet they are. And they were literally hanging off his every word because he's such an engaging speaker.
Yeah.
So I said, look, if you're interested, mate, you know, let's I'll send you a list of countries and a list of potentials. And if you want, send me back which countries you're interested in doing. Let's do a multi-country tour. Let's do like a 3-country tour after the Olympia. Because I had such a good thing is, I said to him, I said, look, to be honest, mate, I said, you know, like I want to do 2 a year with Ronnie. I'm happy to do 2 a year with you. I only want to work with a small group of people because a lot of these pros, I probably couldn't gel with them or tour with them or, you know, so if I have a good experience with one, then I'm more than happy to work with them again. If there's interest, I can get bookings, you know, I'm more than happy to work with them again. So yeah, he said, yeah, let's, you know, he's interested. So, but everything went without a hitch. So that's a big relief and I'm feeling very, very happy. I'm a little bit tired, but I'm looking forward to getting back training as well. So, yeah, it was brilliant. He was a really, really good guy, and I think he got bigger on the tour because I swear he was big. Honestly, I swear he was bigger at the end of the tour than he was at the start, mate. I swear.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I was impressed by the condition because the Arnold was 3 months ago almost. We're coming up on 3 months ago. Most guys would be, you know, I'm sure he never gets fat or anything close to it, but he didn't look that far off, you know, stage weight, maybe like 10, 15 pounds. Is that how lean he always stays?
I forget what he told me he was weighing. I think it was like 124 kilo.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think he's got to be 100 and I forgot what it was now. It's 114 or something, or 100 something like that for the classic. But he guest posed literally when I was in Hungary the other weekend. He was guest posing in, I forget, was it, where did he say? Germany, I think it was. And then he guest posed a couple of weeks before. Remember that guest posing we all saw and he went where everyone was going crazy? That was only like 3-4 weeks ago. So he said, no, this is the condition I want to keep myself in because he's working with Stefan Kienzel.
Oh, wow. The boss.
Yeah, and he's really serious about winning the Olympia this year. He says, no, I'm gunning for Chris this year. He says, he says, I don't want to, because I think you and I both think, and a lot of people think that Chris is probably not going to go on after this year because he's got 5. What is he going to prove by winning more than 6? So I said to him, I said, you're next in line for, meaning next year. And he says, no. He says, I'm going to aim to beat him this year. That's the goal. I'm not going there to try and play second and be happy about it. He says, I really, really want to go and push him this year, so that's the goal. So that makes it extra exciting, and we also managed to get him in the studio as well here. We did a nice podcast with the Olympia channel. So that was really good. Yeah, I don't know whether I'm just getting more competent at them or I'm getting more, I think I'm getting more confident as my competence grows because I kind of get less stressed. I get less tired from these tours and I find them less taxing because like the Phil and the Brandon one, they were exhausting. But I feel like I'm starting to, like the last couple of weeks, like I said before, Phil, Brandon, Ashley, like I wasn't sleeping. I was very stressed out. And obviously what happened in 22 with me, I kind of stress is kind of like a big thing to kind of keep at bay. But I think I'm getting more, and I'm enjoying them more as well because I kind of know what I'm doing. I'm kind of, and I'm getting better, just getting better through experience. So, there's still things I would have done differently. There was a couple of days where I was like, okay, we probably should have tweaked the format a little bit here. Maybe we should have, but all our timings were bang on. Like I said, he got all his workouts, all his meals, we had plenty of sleep. No one, there's 4 people that really, 2 of the people don't even really know me. Wesley barely knows me through media. So, and you're spending a lot of time, with and a lot of travel, and we didn't have a crossword, nothing. It was, it all worked perfectly. And the thing is, he's very, very professional. He's very, very, I don't know if it's a Dutch thing or whatever, but they're big on being on time. They're very organized, and it worked out really, really well.
Yeah, I mean, you were updating us on the group chat on WhatsApp, and it looked like every single appearance was a smash. The fans were loving it. he's so professional. You do little clips. He's such a great speaker, helping guys one-on-one with their posing. You could see that every single one of those fans, he made an imprint on them. They're going to remember that day and be inspired for the rest of their lives by the fact that you brought Wesley Vissers to their gym and they got the chance to have him help with their posing and answer their personal questions and stuff. It's such a cool thing because we're all social media people now. Everything's on the phone. You don't see people face to face. This is kind of like the old days when bodybuilders used to make these appearance tours and you could pay to see Dorian or Mike Matarazzo or whoever it was back in the day. And it was a big deal for us because we didn't have any access to these guys in real life. Aside from that, we couldn't. Yeah.
When I think it was 19, I borrowed my friend's motorbike, his 125cc motorbike, and I had no insurance, no license. I drove it in the rain to Cardiff in Wales, about 45 miles on the motorway to go see Flex Wheeler in a seminar. So highly illegal, but it was very dangerous as well because I didn't really know how to ride a motorbike that properly. I had my basic license, but I didn't have my actual license. I had no insurance. I just basically borrowed my friend's motorbike. He said, "Look, if anything happens," he said, "you've stolen it, okay? That's what happens, and that's what I'll say. You've stolen it." I said, "Okay, no problem." He says, "So I don't know about this." So like it was, like the lengths I would go to see these guys, and some of these young kids and stuff, they traveled a long way, and they were like, I get a real kick out of seeing how buzzed. Like, with Ronnie, like some of the young kids, they're like shaking when they met Ronnie and stuff. And I get and it's so, it means such a lot to everyone that kind of makes the effort to go and see, these champions and stuff like that. And he was so great with everyone. I mean, he's just a nice guy. He's a decent human being, fundamentally. And his wife was lovely and they were really helpful. And we were all kind of wanting to make it work. And obviously got a lot of good footage for his YouTube because YouTube was very popular. And everyone was very, very invested in wanting it to be a good experience for everyone involved. So I felt like there was, I had good support, like I said, I got great support from the Olympia as well. I mean, like I said, they reposted and collaborated and posted and stuff. And, and they posted the video on the Olympia into TV YouTube. So, it's nice to have that kind of support, really. That's what it comes down to, and encouragement and sort of, just to help make these things happen. Because, like Lauren, obviously home booking flights and hotels and stuff. She was always on hand. She was cooking his food. She put little gift bags in their hotel room when they were staying here locally and stuff. And these little things, they kind of made a big difference to them. It made them, because like I said, it's a lot of driving, a lot of effort, and to really put themselves out there. And a lot of pros don't do anything like this. They can't be bothered. They don't see the value in it. They just say, well, it's not even if it's about the money. They just not interested in giving back like this. So for Wesley to do this, that was a huge deal. He could have just stayed at home and, he's got all his sponsorship and all his, whatever, all his source of income in the gym and everything. He could have just done that, selling his clothing and stuff. But, the fact that he actually wants to get out there and represent, because like he's stepping up into that role, because, Chris Bumstead doesn't do these. Chris Bumstead doesn't even get back to your emails. I'm sorry, but I'm going to put it out there. It's true. He doesn't even respond to emails, and he's the Olympia champion. I get people messaging me saying, "Oh, I'm trying to get hold of Chris Bumstead. I want him to come to this expo." And I just go, "Guys, there's his number, there's his email address. Contact him on the DM. If he doesn't get back to you, there's nothing I can do about it." But then you got someone like Wesley who's coming over for a different country and really putting himself on, out there, because it's like it was a lot. It was every day on the road and different hotel almost every single night. Eating in cold Tupperware containers at service stations, and it's basically what I think we would all love to see from all our Olympia athletes, not just champions.
Yep.
So he's really done himself proud there, and he's really done a lot to build not just the Olympian name but his own personal brand. And also ESN sponsored the tour as well. They put something towards which the expenses and stuff, and in return I picked them up 3 trade accounts. And the UK's biggest distributor just texted me this morning. He says, "I really want to take on ESN now." So they might, because they're trying to break the UK now, because they're number 3. They're the 3rd biggest supplement company in Europe, and they're looking to really launch in the UK. So they got a marketing company in London, but then they came on the back of this tour, and automatically, they've pretty much launched in the UK and off to a good start. So they've made back probably 100 times over what they invested in this tour.
Very nice. Yeah. Well, you know what? You did a great job. So I want you to do it. Can you have the shoulder mobility to pat yourself on the back? I can't. But
No, my shoulders. I haven't trained actually. My shoulders are a lot better. It's actually hurting right now. It's actually a lot better. Actually, I'm going to go to physio in half an hour.
Yeah, you gotta go.
But I didn't train because I thought maybe I'll just rest a little bit. But I'm itching to get back to the gym. I feel so skinny and horrible.
God. Anyway, well, man, glad the tour went so well. I love seeing stuff like that because, like I said, everything's on computers and phones now. To see people in real life engaging with champions like that, and champions making that effort, especially when they don't need to. Wesley could have stayed his ass home in Netherlands, but he did that for the fans, and now thousands of people that he met on this tour, they have a memory for the rest of their lives, thanks to you and thanks to him. So, good job. That's it, guys. That's it. We're gonna wrap it up, but remember, Saturday we are doing a live stream on this channel for the California Pro. That is going to be 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the judging for the pro men. There's only one division. And 5 p.m. for the pro men finals. Please join us here. Me, Big Mike Cox. If Giles has some time, of course, I love having you on those whenever you can drop by. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be a good time. That's it. Thank you. This has been Power Hour with me, Ron Harris, and Giles Tiger Thomas. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share to the channel. Do all that stuff. We'll see you next time.